Welcome back to another episode of the Unbroken Athletic Podcast. Here at Unbroken Athletic, we are committed to coaching beyond fitness. And part of that coaching beyond fitness starts with mindset. So in these podcasts, we discuss things that you can do in your life today that can help you on your way to being successful in the gym, in your life, and in your business.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Unbroken Athletic Podcast. We have a sort of different podcast today. It's just Jeremy and I'm Coach Shanna. And we're going to talk about today kind of the services we offer at Unbroken Athletic. I think that some people just assume that we are just a CrossFit gym, but our motto is coaching that goes beyond fitness. And
can you explain that, what that means?
Yeah, so for us especially, so I think a little bit of our story and why we were so attracted to CrossFit and why we wanted to make this part of our, career and really help other people through CrossFit was that it was so much more than just fitness. It was training our mind. It was training for outside of the gym. It was training for how to get through adversity, how to, get pushed through setbacks, how to fight when you don't feel like fighting, how to discipline yourself, how to set goals, how to go after them, how to create a plan to go after a goal, how to decide, who you want to become, and then put some stress and fire under that and see what actually happens. So to me, it was like an actual way for me to test what would happen in my life if I was in stress. And so I think if we can create stressful environments, I'm not saying that every time you come to CrossFit, the place is on fire and we're like, go do this workout. But it is pretty stressful sometimes, when you have a plan going into a workout and you're like, hey, I'm going to do it. And then, one round in, you're like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. And you have to think fast and you have to be able to change and continue the workout without letting that get to your mind. And to me, that is like mindset training for the real world, because that's what happens, right? We have these goals, we want to do stuff, and then our plans never work out, right? But our plan should always be changing to keep up with our goals, but the goal should never change. And so many people like throw in the towel and give up on themselves when really that can all be trained, because that's mental toughness. Like anything, try to parent without mental toughness, So for us, coaching beyond fitness means that we're going to train you. Yes, you're going to get strong. You'll probably lose some body fat. You'll probably, get faster, get stronger. That's what most people come here for. But when they leave, they are transformed. And that's what happened to us, is we were transformed. Like the stuff that happened with losing, getting stronger, losing body weight or body fat and all that kind of stuff, that was like at the bottom of my list of the things that I gained from being part of a CrossFit gym. So that's what coaching beyond fitness means to me. What does it mean to you? You want to kind of add on that, or did I hit everything that you were kind of thinking too?
I kind of lost my train of thought when you were discussing, and I was thinking in my nothing box.
That's amazing. You have one of those.
Yes. So I guess coaching beyond fitness means to me is that, a lot of stuff that you talked about, mental toughness, and, there's so many things that most people overlook when it comes to fitness, especially training in a fitness facility. Yeah, you can go down the street and you can get a $20 membership per month. 98.9% of the people that use that membership don't use that membership. And so to me, if you know me and you know us and you know our facility and you know how we operate, we're the ones that always stick out. We want to go against the grain and we always want to be different. And so when we opened a gym, we didn't want to be the same gym that everybody knows about. We didn't want to be. And then on the flip side of that, we didn't want to be the everyday personal trainer. Okay, that's not what we do. That's not kind of our I don't know, forte.
Yeah. Well,
We
I think our business model is opposite.
It's always
So,
been opposite. And that's kind of what I was getting at is like we never wanted to be that place that you just bought a membership to and never showed up. And so for us, it was always, well, for me anyway, it was always, you know, let's create a model where that is not the case. And, CrossFit is a very big driver between as far as how we run our business. The CrossFit model is not the typical $20 gym a month, and it's not um, the meathead personal trainer that's just gonna make you do reps and sets all the time. And I think that people, when they hear that we do personal training, I think that's kind of the mindset that they think is that they're going to get this personal training session where today we're doing chest and tris and tomorrow we're doing legs and whatever, and we're doing core work this day, we're doing cardio this day, and it's really not that. And so that's kind of one of the reasons for this podcast is to kind of give you kind of our methodology on how we train people, and then the reasoning behind that. So we're giving you the how and the why. But back to my original thought was we're not the typical gym, and most CrossFit gyms are not the typical gym. So, and that's the biggest thing. The other thing is all CrossFit gyms are independently operated and owned. There's not a set template. So, and this is for people that might be listening to the podcast that haven't tried another CrossFit gym. All CrossFit gyms are different, and you just have to find the one that flows with you. And
right.
so that's kind of our kind of thought process in the programs that we offer, the different levels of training that we do have here at Unbroken Athletic. And so you wanted to touch on kind of something that I'd said.
Yeah, I think our goal, so it's opposite of the typical gym where it's a numbers game, right? We know that only 10% are going to use their membership. That's a typical gym. Where ours is, if you don't show up, we're going to be texting you. Some of you guys, if you're members, you've gotten texts or emails or Facebook, posts. Like, we actually care. And for us, you're not paying for a membership. You're paying for our coaching. You're paying, and for me personally, when I say that I'm going to coach somebody, I want them to be better than before they came into those doors. And for me, I know that starts with mindset. That's so much of the coaching part of it, like being disciplined and showing up when you don't feel like it, and setting the bar higher than what you think, because that's the other thing too. Like, we were talking about this yesterday. Like, people just set the bar low because they're afraid of failure. And I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole here, but they set the bar low because they're afraid of failure. But we don't let that, like, when we're coaching people, we don't let people, we call that sandbagging. Like, yeah, we know you can do jumping pull-ups. You've been doing them for a year. Set the bar higher and fail at a workout. It's okay to fail. And that's the only way you're going to get better. Like, so as coaches, we've been doing this long enough to know where people may not even know their limits are, that we can see that and call it and help them become more than they normally would. And then that applies obviously outside of the gym. Once you get confidence in here, I feel like that applies to everything that you do. So that's what I really love about it, is that we actually do care a lot.
Okay, so let's try to kind of consolidate this podcast into saying, okay, so what are our layers within our facility, and then kind of breaking down, this is what this does, and then we'll just peel that back and why we do it. So starting with our number one kind of program, which would be personal training. I mean, essentially, that's really what we're doing, whether it's personal one-on-one training, to two-person group training, to, large group training as our CrossFit classes. They all kind of fall under that category of personal training. So let's break down our two different kinds. We have two separate kinds. We have a 60-minute session and a 30-minute session. from your perspective, like, why do we do personal training?
Like, why do we have a coach in classes?
No, why do we have one-on-one sessions
one-on-one
here?
sessions. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty easy. Everybody's different. Everybody's goals are different. And in a group, it doesn't matter if it's a group of, 8 people or 4 people. You're not going to get specifically tailored coaching to where you're at, if that makes sense, and where you want to go. So
And so are we talking about the traditional 80s personal training session?
no.
You know,
No.
let's go.
So if you're like, "Hey, I want to get pull-ups." I'll just keep going back to pull-ups cuz that's a big goal for a lot of women that come in. You're not going to get better at pull-ups by just showing up to the classes and keep doing pull-ups. Like,
Why is that?
because you're not working through the specific issues that you're having. My issue may be my shoulder mobility. Your issue may be you're not, don't have enough upper body strength yet. But until we sit down with a coach one-on-one and say, "Hey, look, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to go. What can I work on? What do you see?" Then you may never know. You just may be coming every single class and training bad movement patterns.
And I think the biggest thing is a lot of clients will think that they can get adequate coaching within the normal realms of a CrossFit class. The problem with that is thinking that the coach has an unlimited amount of time. Right. And let's face it, if you took our profession and put it into your profession, as far as like coaches and let's say someone who's an accountant, and you had a friend that said, "Hey, I'm going to show up at your work and I want you to do my taxes for free because I know you got time and it's what you do. It's your profession," right? And didn't expect to be compensated or you to be compensated for that. And so I think a lot of times what people do is they see the coach, and the coach is more than, and I think it's almost like they play on our weaknesses because we're
like,
we want you to get better. We want you to do these things. And it is what we want you to do. And we will give away free information. It's not the fact that we're saying like, "Oh, we're going to be, jerks and we're never going to tell you anything." It's the fact that, we can spend, if we could have a dedicated period of time to work with you on a specific topic or goal, you're going to get more out of that than the 5 minutes that we said, "Hey, you just got to do this, this, and this, and make sure you do, push away from the top of the bar. If you want to connect them, push away." And understanding that pushing away develops, you need to have more of a developmental skill than just the cue that we give you. And the reason why we give you these short-handed cues is because we have 5 to 6 other clients that might be taking the class that aren't interested in pull-ups, and they're interested in something else. And so for us to kind of mitigate our time, we give, less than 100% skill development or tasks associated with whatever particular movement you're trying to work with. That's why, like, getting into kind of, maybe it's just one session a week where you're spending 30 minutes with a coach on a dedicated topic at a specific time where his attention and focus or her attention and focus is directed towards you and not the runnings of a class. You know what I mean? And then there's 30 minutes, 1 hour sessions for more dedicated planning. That would be more for people that are, competitive athletes looking to increase a lot more of their performance, having a customized personal training program where you're working one-on-one with a coach. They know your lifts. They know what you need to improve on. They know your weaknesses. They're identifying those weaknesses, and then you have full access kind of with certain equipment that you wouldn't necessarily get in a traditional group class just due to size and time constraints.
Yeah, I think too when you pay for something, you value it more. This is just my personal experience this year. I went like all out crazy on hiring coaches for myself in business and personal life and in nutrition even. And I found that I took myself way more serious. Like I leveled up just by putting money on the table. So when I put money on the table, then I'm like, oh boy, I better like show up. I better be giving my 100%. I'm paying for this. And to tell you the truth, my results have been way above what I have done or been able to do for the last 9 years on my own.
Exactly.
1 year with a coach. So I think you got to decide, what's important to you and where do you want to go. If you're frustrated because you can't get double unders, or you're frustrated because your lifts aren't getting better, then it's probably worth getting, a half-hour session, even once a week. You can do a lot with one-on-one sessions with a coach in that 30 minutes. That's a lot of time if it's just you and a coach. You don't have to worry about running to class and the warm-up. You don't have to worry about all that stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's super important as a part of any part of your training regimen is that one-on-one time with a coach who knows your goals, and then that's all you're focused on is that one-on-one attention. And so, and then getting away from that stigma of this isn't a personal training session at a big box gym. Okay. So it's not a separate program. It's not, hey, we're doing these, certain body weight movements and we're all going to wear our stretchy tights and our 80s headbands and everyone's going to be rocking it out.
I actually was a trainer at a big box gym, a personal trainer. We mostly did circuits. We did circuits on the machines and stuff.
So we're not going to run circuits.
We're not going to do any of that stuff.
It's more about if you want to run circuits, I'm pretty sure we can come up with a program for you. But just know that most of our personal training sessions are going to be tailored, okay? Or maybe it's you don't like working out in a group setting, right? Maybe you want a 60-minute CrossFit class, you one-on-one with a coach that's just you and the coach and nobody else. And maybe that's your jam. Maybe you hate working out with people. It's a possibility.
I love people, so that's not me.
So after our personal training, we have our group sessions, which are CrossFit. Okay, so our big group CrossFit classes, we try to make sure that we coach people adequately enough to make sure that they are not putting themselves in harm's way. What?
I was just checking.
It's just making me go off topic.
Sorry.
And so with that, and that's one thing that we do pride ourselves on. We make sure that our coaches from class to class is a seamless transition as far as you're not getting anything different that you wouldn't get at any one of our other classes. We have a pretty good coaching protocol that we go through with all of our coaches here at Unbroken to make sure that each one of those classes that the coach is adequately prepared the day before to make sure that, if there's any scaling options that need to be happening. We also have dedicated warm-ups. We have our lifting sessions with pre-barbell work and customization as far as who's in the class, what's going on. And then, like I said, we also have our stimulus, what we're trying to achieve out of all the workouts. So there's a lot of work that goes into just a traditional CrossFit class here at Unbroken, and that is one thing that from the beginning, even prior to Unbroken ever being a thing with our previous CrossFit gym, is one thing is that structure class is got to be on point all the time, just because we are, most of our clients are paying for an experience, and that's one of those things that we try to live up to is we live up to that experience every day so that people want to come back. They want to do this. They have friends here. They don't want to miss classes, and they feel terrible when they do, whatever that is. So yeah, always feel terrible for missing a class, you cherry pickers. I'm just kidding. No, not really. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, so that's kind of how we are with our CrossFit class. Did you say anything different?
No, I think people understand. What a CrossFit gym
cool.
or class is.
Then we have our hybrid program, which is the Fit in 30s, which are amazing for stay-at-home moms and stuff like that. We're not going to go into too much detail with the Fit in 30s, just because they're pretty basic. Same level of coaching, same level of training goes into those Fit in 30 classes, except for they're very fast-paced, short style, and pretty much an in-and-out program.
Yeah, I when I explain the Fit in 30 class, I say it's CrossFit minus the barbell.
True.
So there's no technical movements. You wouldn't have to go through a fundamentals course to learn barbell movements to go to those classes.
Yeah.
So they're all simple movements. Effective.
Kind of
Very simple.
backtracking, because she brings up a really good point, is in our CrossFit style classes, we don't throw you in, and you can't walk in off the street into a normal CrossFit class. We have a personal training program that goes into place before you can even do a CrossFit style group class. The reason for this is to make sure that you are lifting safely walking into a class. I think we cut it down to 4 classes. We're at 4 classes that you have a one-on-one session that you set up. They are roughly 30 to 45 minute sessions based on your level of aptitude and how fast a coach can actually take you from point A to point B. Not fast as in they're under the gun to get you in and out of the door by 30 minutes, but fast as in how fast you can pick up proper movement pattern. And that's why we work one-on-one, just because we want to make sure that you have specific attention to detail on things that are wrong, that you have wrong movement patterns for you instead of a large group setting. We used to do large group setting CrossFit, but we found it was our large group settings for our fundamentals class, but found out that it was a lot better for us and the client to have that personal attention to detail, because each one of us is different. We're all coming in at a different athletic level. We're all coming in at a different fitness level. And we wanted to make sure that our program was tailored for your specific needs. After that, we have our new program, which is called Fit for Me. You want to go into that one?
Yeah, sure. So I saw a need for, this is more for me. It's a little bit selfish. Okay. So I have traveled a lot this year, and I needed workouts that I could do at a hotel, with just basic equipment, which is, either a kettlebell or a treadmill or dumbbells, not a lot of equipment. And I wanted to get a good CrossFit workout in. And so I started modifying some of our hybrid classes, which is the Fit in 30 classes, and creating my own workouts. And I was like, wow, I wonder how many people that, maybe life is crazy. Maybe you can't get into the gym. Maybe that's like legitimate. You cannot get into the gym on the days that you want to. And so this would be a great program to add, to your membership. Or if you can't even get to the gym at all, it would be great to be able to do that at home. So I record the movements. I do a video for every single day. There's a workout every single day, and a Monday through Friday. So 5 workouts a week for the full month. It's like $19 for the whole month. So it's $1 a workout. And I go into movements, like how to do this movement, what you should be focusing on. So I'm kind of like a virtual coach before you do the workout. I don't do the workout on camera with you. It's not that type of thing. It's not like a home video set. It's more like, hey, I'm your coach. This is what we're going to do. Kind of exactly how we run a CrossFit class, where people come in and we say, this is how you scale your weights. This is how you should be feeling. This is what you should be shooting for. This is how long it should take. I do that in a short, 2-minute video, and then we hold each other accountable. This is what I love. So we have a private Facebook group once you're a member. And what's cool is that we do sweaty selfies, we do scores, I can't tell you the other things that we're going to do. I'm going to start doing some more fun things in there, but it's been really cool to see, because we're able to hold each other accountable without physically being in one location at one time, which is sometimes impossible with people's schedules. So that's really what it's for, and that's how it works. But I absolutely love it.
Cool. And then after that, of course, we have our specialty classes. That's just hit or miss as far as scheduling goes, and you just have to check our calendars for our specialty class. The only one that I know we have one coming up in the next couple of weeks. And then after that, kind of our foundational program for anybody starting any kind of fitness journey, which is our nutritional coaching. So nutritional coaching is pretty much the bedrock of all of your fitness. There's often a famous saying, it's that you can't outrun a bad diet, and it's really true. And And a lot of times what we found over since starting this nutrition program is the fact that most people are not necessarily not eating. I mean, not eating the right foods. They're just not eating enough of the right foods. And so, do you want to go into that too? Because you head up all of our nutrition counseling pretty much in the gym.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So nutrition is confusing, and it has to be a one-on-one personalized thing. It's not a one size fits all. So my coaching and my philosophy on nutrition is always one-on-one. And I always tailor programs to specific needs, goals, and I even go to a point. So I coach two different things. I coach macronutrition, which is like what to be eating, protein, fat, carbs. And then I coach micronutrition, like all the little stuff that you don't know, like do I get enough fiber? Do I get enough fish oil? Like all the other stuff that needs to get plugged in too. But the thing is that it's very, very one-on-one, and it's very, very different for everybody. So I coach both of those at the same time or just one at a time. Some people are like, hey, no, I know what I'm supposed to be eating. I'm like, okay, cool. So here's a program for you. If you want to add some, amino acids, do you know how to use that? Do you know how to use it around your workouts? Do you know when you should be drinking protein if you're supplementing with protein? Do you know how much fish oil you should be taking to see a difference? Do you know, how to take pre and post workout? Yeah, you can go to GNC and you can go to Walmart and you can buy a whole bunch of stuff and try to do it on your own. But we have programs put together and we understand and we're trained. And, we've been trained for 9 years on how to supplement the right way. So that number one, you're not wasting money on things you don't need. And number two, you're taking it the right way, right? So we coach on how to supplement because it matters. You can't just go to the store and pick something up and, maybe you can, but I couldn't. Okay. As a personal trainer before this, that was one thing that I really have studied and learned how to do because I didn't know how to do it. I was going to Walmart, GNC, Target, buying all these pretty things, putting them together and trying to figure out what worked. And nothing worked. So I had a whole cabinet of wasted, things that were like half full because I'm like, I don't feel any different. I'm not noticing anything. And so I think that's the benefit of having a coach and somebody that understands and knows a specific product line and how to use, and how to get you to the results that you want. Mm-hmm. So I do that part, and then the macro part too is just that's specific, and I give you a grocery list and all that kind of stuff too.
Okay. So, and I guess the biggest thing to close all this out in the last 2 minutes, because we wanted to keep it to 25, right? Or was it 20? It was 20. Anyway, how to get involved with Unbroken Athletic. And I guess the easiest way to do that is just head to our website, sign up for a No Sweat Intro. The No Sweat Intro is going to send you an email with a link to reserve a calendar spot. And then basically from there is we have you come in and we talk to you and we figure out the best path. Okay. And whether or not that is CrossFit, whether it's personal training only, or whether it's neither two of those options are working for your budget or whatever right now, but nutrition counseling does. And so if we can start on whatever avenue that is, whether it's training or it's not training with us, but we find a path for you, that's essentially all that No Sweat Intro is. I mean, it's just finding out your goals, tailoring you to a system that fits within your ideal fitness mindset or goal, whatever, and then executing that plan.
I like how you said path, because that's kind of how it is, right? We all want to get to success, but we all define success differently. So there's lots of paths to get to where you want to go, and having a coach or a navigator, that's kind of what we do, is key. It'll help you get there way faster.
Right on. So in the YouTube link, but we're not on camera, so it doesn't matter. You can't see what I'm doing. In our YouTube link, we will link all of the programs with specific places that you can go to look at the programs on our website. And then we'll also include the No Sweat Intro link, and it'll be ready for everybody to show up and hang out with us. And The ambulances are here. All right, guys, we will shut this one down.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
All right. See you next week.
Bye.
Peace.